Okay, let's explain how this all started in the quickest way possible. I have stories. I want to make some of those stories games. I see shorts from a game developer. Inbound Shovel. Useful. Educational. I watch them. Shovel says he's making a game jam. Perfect for beginners. Reasonable time limit. I've never made a game. I think about it. Would be good practice. I have time because school holidays. I join the game jam. The game jam starts. Theme is just get started. I decide to base game off my webcomic so I don't have to worry about story. 9 days of struggle. I only have time to polish some scenes, and no time for music. No bugs. Chunky code. Game jam finishes. I don't win. Rank high for creativity. Game jam was fun. Would my webcomic be better if it was a game? Ask Discord. Wake up to a reaction from Insandio, Shovel's VTuber wife. 100%. Get through the rest of the high school year. Graduate. Have time and energy for game now. Decide to make it even bigger and better as practice for making a full game. And now we're here. I'm okay, I go by he him, and this is a random rant about my first ever game. I have a bit of a lisp today, I don't know why. This is Elix, a game about Lix, the main character of Sice, having a nightmare. Lix wants to start moving on from a traumatic experience, but what he needs is to start processing it. And what someone else wants for him is to start learning from it. But I'll let you theorize about that. Now, the plot of the game jam version of Elix is Lix reliving what happens in Chapter 3 of Sice, though with a nightmare twist and some vague imagery that alludes to what happens. I won't go over the plot in detail because I want to keep it vague and up to interpretation to avoid completely spoiling that part of Sice. Though the game is still available on my itch.io account for free. It's playable in browser for PCs, so play through it if you want. It's a quick game, and I intend to keep it up alongside the new version when it comes out. I'll link it below. The mechanics of Elix are a bit sporadic, and I like it that way. It was vaguely inspired by the WarioWare genre, games that have a bunch of minigames with different mechanics. In Elix, the main method I used was pressing the arrow keys to move Lix through animations. I really enjoyed playing through the game because of these. I think it's a very satisfying process, especially if you do it quickly. The other main feature was typing. It's basically the same, but you have more keys to work with. Coming back to this now, I think I just took 2 of my favorite minigames from Royal High. Besides that, you can walk and interact with objects and dialogue. I don't remember coding most of this game. I was basically living on energy drinks, neurodivergence, and tutorials, but I did record some of my process to show to my friends, which I'll put up now. Please excuse how dead I sound, I was struggling a fair bit. I don't think you want to know how long I have been coding this stuff. I have collision. You can still move in this, but I couldn't fix that. Okay, I thought it was gonna take longer, it actually didn't. After the cutscene, you can see now. There's a little scar on his arm that wasn't there before because his pajamas don't have sleeves. And also, he's got pants, and definitely not shoes that I never erased. Yeah. I have been coding since like 11, I don't know, until now, which is 4 AM, as you can see. Now you can't move. Nice. And what do you know? It's a scene I haven't set up yet, so it's just gray. I started working about like 11:30 p.m., 6:30 a.m. now, but I have the looping hallway scene. So it starts off like he enters the hallway, and then he comes back into it, and then you got a new background. Oh, oh, and then he goes again. Oh, and then again. Yep, and then again. I spent too long coding this. You know what I did in the end? I tried to make a system so that I could just have one scene, but no, I ended up having one scene and then copy, pasting it a ton of times with different backgrounds. Like, I should have just done that from the beginning. I've spent more than 7 hours straight just trying to code this. I have work later and I still haven't finished this game. I just want to finish this game. I haven't even done the animation for the cool part. By the way, I'm doing commissions. You can see the prices here. You can go to my Ko-Fi through my website, linked in my channel description. If you're lucky, I can finish one on the same day you order it. You can buy extra characters for half price, or actual backgrounds, stuff like that. Thank you. Back to the video. Now, while this was my first game, it wasn't exactly my first time coding. When I was in primary school, I took digital technologies and I was very good at it. I actually won the award for Digitech at my graduation. Because of that class, I was familiar with the language of coding, and luckily for me, I'm good at being able to find a path from what I want in a game to implementing it. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy and I used a lot of tutorials. But I did make sure I understood what I was coding before I did it. Some tutorials didn't work, and some tutorials I had to mash together, and some parts of the code I made by looking at the Godot documentation, which is basically the dictionary of coding for Godot, the game engine that I used. As a result, the early code is very messy, and the largest piece of code is Lix. Let me preface this by saying that he has multiple models, so most of his code is just repetition, but it's still not good.
I never even considered using separate models, let me tell you that. This is so under-optimized, it's painful. The biggest payoff of the game jam was definitely how much I learned about coding. There are still things that I don't know, obviously, but being forced to code a whole game in 9 days really teaches you about what you're doing. For this last section about my coding, I want to talk about one of the most interesting ways I code. I want you to look closely. This appears through a dialogue system. Or does it? That's right, this isn't a proper dialogue system at all. It's an image in an animated spread 2D. This new Fade to Black I coded after the game jam, animated spread 2D. These animations, animated spread 2D. Half of my game is made of spreads and animated spreads. For systems like the dialogue, the script is programmed to sense the interaction key and then move it to the next room manually. It isn't difficult to do in my art program, and it saves me a lot of time in my game engine. You could claim that I'm missing out on smooth transitions and a cool looking dialogue setup, but I would tell you that I've already considered those options. For smoothness, look at my animation style. It's low frame rate, it's choppy, and I like it that way. Having my transitions in the same style simply makes sense. And for dialogue, it was always going to be a choice to have sentences that just appeared. I'm a fast reader. Games that make me double interact so I can read the text at my normal speed annoy me, though admittedly I don't mind it on games with voice acting. And if there are scenes where I do want it, animated spread 2D. All of that animation does mean that my game has to be carefully planned out so that I'm not wasting time, but that's okay. And even for animations that I don't end up liking, I'm fast enough of an animator that it doesn't make a huge impact. I actually formulate the game like an animation as well. I write a script and make thumbnails. Only the script includes mechanics and minigames where I think suitable, and the thumbnails show how both the animations, settings, and other assets will roughly look. When the game jam finished, Shovel played the games on stream during the judging process. I got the privilege of watching him play my game rather early because I'm a member of his YouTube and Patreon. When I did, I realized that my game was a little confusing for the average person, and not in the way that I wanted it to be. So I've updated the script. I made it more like a nightmare for starters. There are far more scenes, more scares, more room for gameplay, more dialogue, and more hints. There's even a part where Elix wakes up from the nightmare and gets a cup of tea. I'll be showing all of this as I make it, as I already have on my shorts, TikTok, and Tumblr. They'll be in a card at the end of the video, and I'll also make devlogs when I feel the need to. If not during the process, then at least at the end when it's all done. I'll show you everything I've made so far after the next section. There aren't enough of them, so I added more. More arrow key minigames, more typing minigames, more clicking minigames, more interactables. And if you play through the whole experience, we'll give you even more. You're looking at spamming the space button, time cues and clicks, spam clicking, running, and quick typing, all completely free. Just call this number the next 10 minutes and pay separate shipping. So far I've implemented none of them because I'm not even up to the first minigame, but let's stop with the teasing and show you what I've done compared to what it was. The Game Jam version begins with a trigger warning. Light gore with fantasy blood, implied violence, moderate flashing, and sketch assets. Reasonable. It actually begins with a menu, but I haven't changed that, so whatever. After a disclaimer that the game takes place in a dream and isn't story accurate, Lix enters the room. I'll repeat the dialogue verbatim. Silence. It's been 2 weeks now. Why am I still having nightmares? I should just get ready for bed. Then he reads a letter. A letter from the king. An apology. I didn't need it. I don't blame him. I'm not like them.
I'm not like those other girls.
Then he gets dressed. They said it would scar badly. I don't know why I keep expecting it to fade. The bruising is gone at least. Then he gets into bed. Text appears. I just have to start moving on. After this, there's a conversation between him and the other servants, but in the updated version, that never occurs. At least not in the same way. And there's also more beforehand. So let's get into that. The updated version also starts with a warning, but this time without the sketch asset one and with more elaboration on the potential epilepsy triggers. Then, an animated monologue. I'll repeat this verbatim as well. I've had lucid dreams since I started working. I heard others can control them when they occur. I can't. I can't even control myself in them sometimes. I wouldn't mind if it weren't for the nightmares. If it weren't for the memories. The monologue fades to black and Lix enters the room, this time with more frames and no sketch assets in sight. There's even sound effects. The dialogue this time is similar, but different. Silence. It's been 2 weeks. I'm so tired. I dialed back on the dialogue here because it was a little on the nose. This time the dialogue only tells you 2 things. 1, it's been 2 weeks since the incident, and 2, Lix is tired. It could be of the nightmares, but it could also be from work, other factors, or a mixture. There are other reasons to keep the dialogue especially condensed here as well, so I'll put up a list now. And now we're in the bedroom, completely polished, joined by a background and even a working reflection. Mostly working reflection. My brother told me, he was like, you gotta keep moonwalking it, dude, you gotta keep in moonwalking. So I kept in moonwalking. And it does mean you can juke the reflection. Lix picks up the letter with an animation this time, and the dialogue has again been adjusted. A letter from the king. An apology. I didn't need it. Silence. No, he meant well. This time, instead of the dialogue being about how he's not like the other servants, that line will forever haunt me, dear lord. Instead, he just says that he didn't need an apology. Again, this is more open to interpretation. Why not? Does he blame himself? Does he blame no one? Would he rather forget about it? But then, he thinks for a moment, and takes it back. Now fully acceptant of the letter for the sake of the person who wrote it, not for himself. 4 words. 4 have added so much depth to him. I love writing dialogue. Another animation. Lix goes to open the drawer and the scene fades to black before coming back with Lix now changed into his clothes. I decided that 3 sets of dialogue in less than a minute of gameplay was a bit much, and him talking about the bruising seemed too intentionally misleading, which wasn't what I wanted.
Did the king like punch me in the face? I don't...
Lix climbs into bed like last time, and the simple text is now fully animated. I don't like this. This was actually my second time making an animated version of this part. The first one was too abrupt compared to the scene before, and the flashing was just way too intense to a degree that I didn't feel comfortable with even after adding an epilepsy safe version. So I completely redid it, but I don't like this one either. It's too static and I don't like the poses. However, I won't be changing it for a while. I gotta get through the rest of the game. I'll redo it and likely a few others after I've finished making a fully polished version. You know the phrase that's been going around recently, make it exist first, you can make it good later. Anyway, the dialogue system this time says, I have to move on. That's the only step. Before the shadows turned into clawed hands and drag him into the abyss. Lix slowly opens his eyes and, upon hearing footsteps, looks up. Silence. There you are. Follow me. Surprisingly, their perspective wasn't that hard to animate, and I'm very pleased with the result. This was also the first part of my game, outside of the menu, that has music, and I was very pleased with the result. And because this is the last part of what I've updated, I can talk about the music. Like every other asset, the music was also made by me. I used Beatbox for it. Cheers to Juniper Dev for recommending that. I've made 3 songs, the one in the menu, the one in the bedroom, and the one in the dream hallway. Wait, where's the music in the bedroom? I took it out. It quite also just suits the scene more. The first 2 songs I made, I don't like. The issue with them is that they don't evoke much emotion. They're just tunes doing whatever. The third one, however, does do something. The notes go in an upward direction, like a staircase. This gives it a positive feeling, and the instruments give it a soft feeling. Here in the hallway, you are safe. For the menu music, I'll likely keep the song, but only with a dark choir instrument. It's actually been quite fun experimenting and making music. It doesn't take me long as they're simple cycles, and it's only a matter of setting the right mood with the tempo, instruments, and notes. There's going to be one song that I'll likely struggle with, though. In the original game, the end credits is a single image. No fluff, but I really want to turn it into an anime-style outro. I feel the unquenched desire for an over-the-top credits with a lullaby sung in Lix's native language with metaphors and hints towards the larger story and really cool shots and perspectives. I don't know how to end this. The art at the end section this time is a commission I bought from Catmint Nepotiz, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm really liking this tradition of buying commissions every video so I can include it in the end credits, because that way even if I don't get any fan art, I can still have something to show and I'm supporting artists, you know? But I do actually have fan art. I have 2 meme images from my friend Eggs, and I have a really cool fan art from my friend Whirly. And I should be getting more art soon because it was just Christmas and my birthday and my friends have been giving me art for that. I do have my next video planned as well. It should be coming really soon actually. It's going to be on me redesigning Levrai's outfit because, you know, he serves King, but he's not serving King. The outfit's not doing enough right now. I'm sorry. Sorry, Levrai. So that's it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video. The advertisement section was really fun to make. I don't know, I kind of just during the recording went full infomercial mode, and then while I was drawing for it, then I kind of went full analog horror mode, and I don't know what to describe it as. I hope you like it. I hope you like the little codes I left for you, and that's it. Enjoy KK Miku.